My name is Saraf Fernando. I'm from Sri Lanka and I'm representing the movement for land and agriculture reform. It's a movement of farmers and of other activists in Sri Lanka, and we have worked in Sri Lanka under this organization for the last 20 years. We are a member of Via Campesina, and I attended the conference, the meeting of Via Campesina here in Bangalore, at which we tried to discuss the type of problems that farmers are facing in our own countries and the consumer problems faced by the poor consumers in our countries, and also the other problems that are emerging and have emerged in the rest of the world. What solutions can be found by us as a program, as a movement of small farmers that can bring about change. Via Campesina is one of the biggest movements of small farmers, peasants, landless people, agricultural labor, forest dwellers, indigenous people, women and youth. Therefore, since it's a worldwide movement, it has the potential and also the responsibility to fight against what's wrong and to promote what has to be done in order to remedy these big errors. If you look at the situation of small farmers and poor farmers, if you look at South Asia is the region where there is a lot of poverty, a lot of hunger. I think the most numbers of hungry people in this world live in this part of the world. Therefore, we have to concentrate on the problems of the poor people, the hungry people, the starving people, the people who can't survive within the globalized market economy, and also small farmers, small fisher people, and agricultural labor. Now, if we look at the trend in the world today, we are in a very serious crisis of all types in the world. The world financial system is in crisis, economies are crumbling, and they are trying to find solutions. The big leaders of big countries have so far failed to find effective solutions to this financial crisis. And the consequences of that crisis are being faced by the poorest people in the world. The world is in a situation of crisis in relation to food. Lots of food is produced all over the world. In fact, too much food is produced in the world, but still a lot of people, a very large number of people are hungry, and they are hungry every day. In 1996, when the World Food Conference was held in Rome, convened by FAO, they said that there were 840 million people who were hungry, going to bed hungry every day, and they promised, there was a commitment given to reduce this hunger by half by 2050. Then in the year 2000, there was another big gathering of world leaders. All leaders of the world met and they discussed what they call the Millennium Development Goals. Again, they said there were lots of people hungry in the world, and they made promises to reduce hunger by half and poverty by half by 2050. Now, this commitment is totally insufficient, because if there is enough food in the world, there is no reason why so many people should go to bed hungry every day. The other thing is, if they are going to take 15 years or 20 years to reduce hunger, all the people who were going to bed hungry every day wouldn't survive that long to reap the benefits of this solution. So it's a meaningless remedy. Now what has happened after say 2/3 of that period gone, we are now in 2011, the world hunger has increased. It has not been reduced at all. It was 840 million that time, and now it's 1.2 billion. It's increasing. So therefore that has proved that the world leaders, leaders of big countries, leaders of big companies are unable to solve the major problem of hunger in the world. The financial crisis is not being solved. The food crisis is not being solved. Then there is another big crisis about trade. The World Trade Organization has failed, and therefore their attempts to solve the trade issues in the world is not being achieved. The World Trade Organization had gone through its own program. If it was not obstructed by people's resistance, the situation would have been much worse. Now instead, they are trying to find other alternatives by having free trade agreements, bilateral free trade agreements in countries. Now these free trade agreements or World Trade Organization's proposals are meaningless, because it is like asking that tigers and rabbits be put in the same cage without rabbits having any protection. The smaller people are not allowed to have any protection of their rights, their food, their land, their survival. So putting tigers in the same cage with rabbits is not going to be a solution. So they have failed. So the world trade situation is in a crisis. The world has begun to now talk about another big crisis, the crisis of global warming, crisis of environment, ecology, climate change resulting from global warming. That is having disasters all over, not only in the third world countries but also in the developed rich countries. It is having its consequences. Now all these things prove that the attempts made to find solutions to the global warming crisis has failed. The first meetings, first discussions, attempts to make Kyoto Protocol function, asking the big countries to reduce their emission of greenhouse gases, didn't succeed. Some big countries like United States didn't agree. Now there were further attempts in Bali, in Indonesia, where they attempted to find a solution. It failed. Some other countries said they can't agree. Copenhagen was the next attempt. There again, solutions worked out were insufficient. It was not going to solve the problems of climate crisis. So, if you look at the whole world situation, the smaller people, the smaller farmers, the rural people are finding it more and more difficult to survive. They can't have their food, they can't buy their food because they don't have money. They have to go hungry and starve and ultimately die. So many of them are beginning to commit suicide. For instance, here in India, last 10 years or so, over 150,000 farmers have committed suicide. So there is something very wrong in the way we are trying to solve the problems of the world. There is something radically wrong. Now these experiences tell us that an alternative has to be found. Now one thing is very clear: this solution to these problems cannot be found by the very creators of the problems. We are asking the big powers to find solutions. They are the very creators of this problem. They make their survival, they make their profits, they accumulate more profits by intensifying the problem, not by solving it. So now these experiences tell us that we can't expect the very creators of the problems to find solutions at the same time. Their interest is to intensify the problems. They can't change their ways of doing it because their profit motivation doesn't allow them to find proper solutions. Therefore, the first thing that we have to work out is who is going to solve these problems. In my understanding, it is the people who face the problems and are victims of these problems who can find solutions. It is because they have to find a solution for their survival. But therefore, they are in the direction of working out solutions. So therefore, one basic fundamental truth that we have to learn is it is the poorest people, the most marginalized people, the most discarded, excluded people in the world who are capable of finding solutions to these problems.